In The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes one of his most quoted lines, "All warfare is based on deception." At first glance, this might sound ruthless. Deception? Isn't that dishonest? Isn't that manipulative? But Sun Tzu wasn't glorifying lies. He was teaching a deeper truth. In war, in strategy, and in life, perception shapes reality. Think about it. If your enemy believes you are weak when you're strong, they underestimate you. If they believe you're strong when you're weak, they overestimate you. In both cases, their perception changes their behavior, and in modern life, where impressions, branding, and image are everywhere, this principle is more relevant than ever. Victory often goes not to the one who has the most resources, but to the one who manages perception most skillfully. Today we're going to explore Sun Tzu's wisdom on deception and perception, how it applies not just to war, but to business, relationships, and everyday strategy. Part 1. Why perception matters. Perception is how others see you, your work, or your intentions. It doesn't always match reality, but it often determines outcomes. Imagine two job candidates. One is skilled but presents themselves poorly. The other has average skills but exudes confidence and clarity. Who gets the job? Reality matters, but perception often decides. Sun Tzu understood this. He taught that to win battles, you don't always need to fight harder. You need to influence what others believe. Part 2. Deception in warfare. On the battlefield, deception meant feints, disguises, and unpredictability. Sun Tzu advised, asterisk, when able to attack, we must seem unable. Asterisk, when near, we must make the enemy believe we are far. Asterisk, when far away, we must make him believe we are near. The goal wasn't deception for its own sake. It was to control the enemy's decisions. If they marched into traps, wasted energy, or hesitated because of your illusions, you had already won half the battle. In modern life, the battlefield looks different, but the principle is the same. Part 3. Perception in modern life. 1. Business and branding companies know perception is everything. A product doesn't just need to work, it needs to look trustworthy, desirable, and superior. Apple doesn't just sell technology, they sell sleek design, prestige, and innovation. Much of their success is perception management. Meanwhile, a company with great products but poor branding may struggle. The perception undermines reality. 2. Careers. In your career, how others perceive you affects promotions, opportunities, and trust. If you're capable but seem disorganized, people doubt you. If you're learning but project confidence and adaptability, people trust you. This isn't about faking, it's about aligning your presentation with your value. 3. Relationships. Perception also plays a role in personal relationships. If you're upset but don't communicate clearly, your partner may perceive coldness instead of stress. If you show appreciation openly, they perceive love even in small actions. In relationships, managing perception means bridging the gap between what you feel and what others understand. Part 4. Deception versus authenticity. Now let's pause. Is Sun Tzu saying we should all manipulate each other? Not exactly. Deception has layers. There's malicious deception, lying, cheating, exploiting, that erodes trust and backfires in the long run. But there's also strategic deception, shaping perceptions for positive outcomes. Asterisk. A teacher may simplify a complex concept so students perceive it as approachable. Asterisk. A leader may project calm during a crisis so their team feels secure, even if they privately feel stress. Asterisk. An entrepreneur may highlight their product strengths first, even while working on weaknesses. This isn't manipulation, it's leadership. It's guiding perception so that progress can happen. Part 5. Everyday examples of perception shaping. Let's make this practical. Example 1. Public speaking. If you walk on stage slouched, mumbling and avoiding eye contact, the audience perceives nervousness, and they respond with doubt. But if you stand tall, speak clearly and smile, the audience perceives confidence, even if inside your heart is racing. The difference isn't truth versus lie, it's which perception you allow to shape the moment. Example 2. Negotiations. In salary negotiations, if you enter timidly, the other side perceives desperation. They offer less. If you enter prepared, calm, and willing to walk away, they perceive strength and respond with respect. Example 3. First impressions. Whether at a networking event or first date, people form opinions quickly. Your appearance, tone, and body language create a perception that often sticks. Strategic attention to these details isn't deception, it's preparation. Part 6. The danger of ignoring perception. Many people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they ignore perception. A business leader may think, results speak for themselves. But if their team perceives them as distant, morale suffers. A friend may think, they should know I care. But if their actions don't show it, the perception is neglect. Ignoring perception is like ignoring terrain in war. Sun Tzu would call it a fatal mistake. Part 7. How to manage perception strategically. So how do we apply this principle ethically and effectively? 1. Self-awareness. Know how you come across. Record yourself speaking. Ask for feedback. Awareness is the first step. 2. Clarity of message. Be intentional about what you want others to perceive. Do you want them to see confidence, trustworthiness, creativity? Shape your actions to reflect it. 3. Consistency. Perceptions are built over time. Consistency between words and actions creates trust. 4. Control the frame. Sun Tzu often sought to set the terms of battle. In life, this means framing situations. For example, instead of entering the negotiation defensively, frame it as a collaboration. 5. Subtlety. Overly forced deception backfires. True strategic perception feels natural, not contrived. Part 8. The inner game of perception. Perception isn't only about how others see you, it's also about how you perceive situations. Sun Tzu knew morale shaped armies. If soldiers perceived defeat as inevitable, they lost before fighting. In modern life, if you perceive a challenge as impossible, you quit. If you perceive it as growth, you persist. Perception shapes motivation, which means you must learn to manage not only the image you project, but the lens through which you see the world. Part 9. Stories of deception and perception. Story 1. The startup founder. A young founder had only a small team and limited funding. To investors, this looked weak, but she framed it as agility. A lean team that could adapt quickly. Investors perceived strength in what seemed like weakness, and she secured funding. Story 2. The crisis leader. During a financial downturn, a CEO's company faced layoffs. Instead of panicking publicly, he projected calm, transparency, and vision. Employees perceived stability and rallied, even in hard times. Story 3. Everyday life. A student walking into an exam tells themselves, "I'm prepared, I've studied, I can handle this." Their perception of confidence reduces anxiety and improves performance. Part 10. Ethical boundaries. Sun Tzu's wisdom is powerful, but it must be applied with integrity. Deception for personal gain at others' expense destroys trust. Lies may work in the short term, but collapse in the long run. The true art lies in shaping perception without betraying truth, guiding, not manipulating, clarifying, not distorting. Used wisely, perception becomes a tool for leadership, influence, and harmony. Closing reflection. Let's return to Sun Tzu's words. All warfare is based on deception. In life, we can translate that to, all strategy is based on perception. Victory belongs to those who understand, asterisk, how they are seen by others, asterisk, how they see themselves, asterisk, how perception shapes behavior. So here's a practice for you. 1. Choose one area of life, career, relationships, or personal growth. 2. Ask yourself, how do others currently perceive me here? How do I want them to perceive me? 3. Then, identify one action you can take to shift perception closer to reality. Remember, deception isn't about lying. It's about guiding perception to reveal the best of yourself, your work, and your intentions. Control perception, and you control the battlefield, whether in war, in business, or in everyday life.